Please describe your husband's retirement from baseball.
He had a foreboding sense that the team was going to take an action against him. Alston, who was the new manager, and Jack didn't hit it off so well, and Alston started benching him a lot, as if he couldn't play, or as if he had someone who could do it better, or whatever. And Jack started worrying about that, and we had a friend, a lawyer friend, who also was an agent, not Jack's formal agent. In those days, ball players didn't have formal agents, but a friend, but he had the agent's skills and knowledge. And he said, well, why don't you start looking for something? And Jack said, I think I will. And between the two of them, they had located a position at Chock full of Nuts as a vice president, as a potential.
And where was Chock full of Nuts? Chock
full of Nuts is a chain of stores in New York City, in Manhattan.
In Manhattan, okay.
And he had an owner. The owner was Black. What was his first name? Anyway, his last name
was Black, but he wasn't Black.
He was not Black.
Okay, okay.
Oh, that's terrible,
Black.
Rachel. I'm only 82. So anyway, they had this possibility, and Jack, it was hard to believe he'd been such a superstar with that team. He had brought that team history and meaning and so many things. It was hard to believe that they were going to trade him. And they never discussed it with him, never. They, Bavasi, who was the one who brought him the news, just said, Jack, we're trading you to the Giants. And in Jack's book, in his autobiography, he says it was like being an old used car.
Yes.
And being sent out.
This was in the 50s.
Yeah,
right?
this was 56.
56, okay.
And with no appreciation, no real closure that with glorious and honor what he'd given the team and what he'd meant to the team, Jack would have been a great manager. He had all the skill and the knowledge and the love of the game. No offer beyond that. And then traded him to the hated Giants, our enemy, our arch enemy,
yes,
next to the Yankees.
Yes.
And so it was treacherous. It was terrible. He felt terrible, and I felt terrible. And it was an accomplished fact. It wasn't anything you could negotiate at that point when it came to him. They had already done it and had already offered it. And Stoneham, who was the owner of the Giants, had already sent a welcoming letter to Jack. And Jack said, I'm not going. I'm not going. I will not be treated this way. My time in baseball is over. And I have another job. He didn't, Look magazine had learned of Jack's searching for another position well before he was told he was finished. And they had an article all planned, and they'd already interviewed him and had it all planned, and they had to keep it a secret so that it didn't get to the Dodgers before they made their move. And someone at Look leaked a copy of the article out, and it got out before Jack wanted to announce it. Anyway, it was a grand mess. But Mr. Black was really excited about having him come and made him a vice president in charge of personnel, which was a perfect position for him.
Wonderful.
Perfect position, because many of the employees were Black women and men, and they needed to create more opportunities at Chock full in terms of moving people up the line into management positions. So he had a sense of a mission right then and there when he came into Chock full and started going to the stores and meeting with the personnel in various places. And people, the employees thought of him as really not a serious personnel manager. They brought him everything. I mean, if the brother was sent to jail, Jack knew about it, and he had to go down there and do something about it. So, and he felt he had to intervene a lot, even than most personnel managers don't intervene that much.
Yes.
But because it was his people, he had to, in both sense, in the larger sense, the racial sense, but also in the organizational sense. These were his people, and he had to act on their behalf. So he brought that activism into that new position.